Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. I have a very important share today, and I have been in the last few days since Saturday going through a series of another round of heart openings, which, if you've watched any of my videos in the past, you know that those are quite intense experiences that often bring a lot of transformation and a lot of empowerment to me, and I like to share about them. And I'm preparing right now for my healing circle that I'll be doing tomorrow, which is focused on this idea of embracing our earth mission and choosing to be here. And a couple of weeks ago, I was at the beach, and the first night that I was there, I was called out to the beach and had a pretty profound experience with my star family from Sirius, where I was reconnected to them in a way that I hadn't been before. And when that happened, it triggered and brought forward some very deep grief that I didn't know that I was carrying, that has proceeded since then to be shifted out of my being in little bits and pieces. And I'll be talking more about that experience and sharing some teachings from that experience on my call tomorrow night. I'll put the link in the comments. But what I want to share with you all today is this morning I woke up and I had a lot of buzzy energy in my field. And generally people interpret that as anxiety. And what I know that to be is actually a frequency trying to come in, an energy download trying to come into my body, and my heart is too closed for the energy flow to happen. And so I knew I needed to sit and meditate, even though I have a long list of things that I need to do for this big course launch that I'm working on. But I sat down anyways and pulled a couple of oracle cards, and the first card I pulled was all about calling in help. And as soon as I read the card, all of these tears just started flowing, and all this grief started coming out. And there are many people that I'm working with right now that are feeling this same thing and don't quite understand it. And the way most of them are articulating it to me is that they don't feel like they belong here. And they've maybe not felt that they belonged here their entire life. And for some reason, that theme has come to the surface this month really loudly for many people. And it's creating a lot of uncomfortable feelings in our emotional bodies, in our heart chakras, in our solar plexus, really in all of our chakras from the heart down, because we're being asked this month to reaffirm our choice to be here. And there's some reasons for that timing. I won't get into that now. It's about what's coming and the change that's coming in the next year and the things that we're supposed to be building. And I'm doing a whole course around that that's launching in December. But it's up right now. And I wanted to address it with all of you because what I find is that people tell me that they don't feel like that they belong here. They feel like they were the only person in their family that was aware of certain things and awake to certain things and doing things differently, and they never felt accepted, they never felt seen, they never felt heard. And that is such a common understanding that so many of us that are on this spiritual path carry. And I want you to know that you don't feel that you belong here, you feel different, because likely you're not from here. And this idea of star seeds, which some of you may know all about and some of you may be brand new to, is this notion that many of us chose to be here at this time to seed this new level of consciousness that is coming into the planet, this new way of being that is being anchored. But many of us arrived much before this point in time. I've been on this planet for 36 years in this lifetime, and for the first 28 of them, I didn't feel like I had a purpose here or that I belonged, and I was just doing what I thought I was supposed to do, which was participating in the corporate way of creating abundance, participating in just normal social things, all the things that we think we're supposed to be doing. That's what I was participating in, but I was never really happy or fulfilled with it. And so when I found the spiritual path, it made sense to me. I had been somewhat seeking my whole life and had been exposed to things when I was younger, but fell away from them for a period of time to do what I was supposed to do. And I say all of that to you so that you know that if you felt for a really, really long time like the things that are happening on this planet don't make any sense, and you don't feel like you should be participating in certain things, or you feel like you want to take a very different and unique path compared to how other people in your life are showing up, that and you've never really felt comfortable doing that, but all of a sudden you feel an urgency now that you should be doing that, but you still feel a little bit confused by it because you don't understand why you have this strong pull to do something that somebody else might think is crazy. It's because right now we have this confluence of events and this beautiful awakening that's happening where this additional frequency of the new earth is landing and being built right now, concurrent to the old breaking down. And so if you have always felt different, if you have always felt unique, if you have always felt like you didn't fit in, it's because you were never meant to. Because if you had fully subscribed to everything that this world has to offer that has existed in the old frequency that is falling away, you wouldn't have had the space to question it. You wouldn't have had the space to think that perhaps you could build something new and different that doesn't even exist. And that's what we need right now. We need people that are willing to step fully and completely into who they really are, and almost consequences be damned, step into that. And I will say from my own personal experience that being called to step in that fully and that uniquely and being confident in that is hard. And oftentimes, because we don't feel like we fit in and we feel like we're different, we might have trouble finding our people. And I hear so much that people just want to be in community with other people that understand them. And that comes from this knowing that you existed somewhere else before you came here where you were fully accepted. And you existed as a part of a star family or a soul line of energy where your uniqueness was celebrated. And we have a deep craving to get back to that. And so oftentimes that looks like really interesting relationship patterns that we find ourselves in. What I've noticed in my own life is that because I do feel different, I have historically kept my heart closed and not let people in because I was afraid that they would leave me or that they wouldn't accept me, and that and that I wouldn't be a part of their world. And that comes from this understanding and this deep grief that I'm now uncovering and finding in my field that has probably been in my being since I arrived here on this planet, that I did have a group of people or beings, if you want to call them light beings, that fully accepted me, that I felt safe with, and I had to leave them to come here. And yes, some of my soul family also is here on this planet with me. And sometimes I get to reconnect with them, and I often get to reconnect with them through my work because they get called to me so that I can help them, because I made a contract with them before I even came here that I was going to help them manage this earth mission that we're on because it's really hard. And sometimes I even get to call those people in as friends. And sometimes if my contract with that person is over, or with that friend is over, I find that I grieve that loss way more deeply than most of the people around me. And I think that comes from this deep grief that I hold from being separated from my soul family, and already having that level of grief in my field. And so when there's any kind of loss or anybody leaves my life, it's almost like somebody blew up a nuclear bomb in my heart chakra, and it unearths so much deepness that it's almost unbearable. My whole body shakes when I have these heart openings. I'm still a little shaky an hour later after mine this morning. And the tears stream down my face and they're sobbing and wailing, and it's really deep because there's a deep well of grief there because I feel like my people are not with me. And when the contract inevitably is over, it's not that I'm I'm working on not being attached to people and things and, being in this place of non-attachment. But the grief is really deep for me because if I take the chance to let somebody all the way in, which is a big deal for most of us because we never feel safe. And if you have childhood trauma on top of all of this, it makes it even harder to feel safe. If by chance you let somebody all the way in, and then that contract with them is over and you're supposed to separate, it feels like something is being ripped from you again, all over again, because you already are carrying so much grief of being separated from your soul family. And so if you feel like your whole life, not only have you been unique and different, but you feel more than others, you cry more than others, you just generally feel the pain of others more, you feel your pain more, know that it's all a part of holding this other frequency and seeding that on this planet. We were never meant to close up our heart chakras the way we did, but we didn't have any other way to navigate this very dualistic, very aggressive energy field that exists on Earth. Earth, even though it's founded in the frequency of love, has fallen so far away from that that we don't feel safe. And to some degree, that exists for everybody. But for those of us that have always felt different and always had trouble trusting because we were judged or persecuted or whatever it's looked like for you in your lifetime, it's more profound, it's deeper, it's more expanded. And so we have an option right now to lean into our uniqueness in a new way, to lean into our choice to be here and reaffirm our choice to be here. It's important that we do that now because we are in the midst of an exit portal right now where many souls are deciding that either this earth plane is too hard for them or that they can't move through all of the pain and the spiritual growth that's necessary for them to reach this higher level of consciousness in their physical bodies. And they know it's going to be too hard, so they're choosing to exit and sometimes right away coming back as souls to complete their mission. But those of you that know that you're supposed to be here now but still feel different and still are having a hard time, it's important that we reaffirm our choice to be here now. And I told my guides when I connected with them a couple of weeks ago, I said, y'all have no idea how hard it is to be here during this time of change. And they said, yeah, you're right. We are not there. We experience frequency through you. And we experience your time there on earth through your field and through our connection to you. But we don't have an understanding truly of what it feels like to be in the human body. And you are so lucky that you get to experience that. And that tears me up a little bit because they're very good at reminding me and reminding us that we chose to be here and that we are getting a huge gift in experiencing the degree of change that we're moving through as a collective right now. But when we're grieving somebody that leaves us or betrays us or, leaves the earth plane too soon, for example, it feels almost impossible to remember that we chose to be here. And so if you all are feeling any of these things or have been feeling this deep heartache that I talk about, then know that you're not alone. And sometimes I think I feel it to the 1000th degree so that I can so clearly articulate it to other people and then hold space for them to move through it. And I'm seeing it in session. I'm seeing people show up and just unburdening themselves of this heaviness and this density of feeling like they don't belong and just deciding, screw it. I haven't felt like I belong the whole time I've been here. And now things are changing so rapidly. I'm just going to release anything that I've been pretending in, anything that I've been in a place of inauthenticity in. And that's a really brave choice that many people are choosing to make. And I'm seeing it every day, and I'm facilitating and holding space for these people to do that. And so it's very, very possible to exit out of this grief spiral, this trauma spiral, whatever you want to call it, that has been plaguing many of us our entire life. And it really comes down to the choice, to choosing to be here, to choosing to fully embrace your mission here, to fully embrace your work on this planet. And then once you do that, you have to figure out, okay, well, what does that mean? How do I create that? How do I bring that to fruition? And I'm building a whole course on that because it's so important that we're all empowered in that right now, and we're able to release the blockers and the imposter syndrome and all the crap that we've held for so long that keeps us from diving into new things that are different. But the first step is just the choice, just choosing. And, doing that in a group setting is really beautiful, and that's why I'm bringing everybody together tomorrow night to do this. But if you don't feel called to join that healing circle, then do it in your own way. Do it in your own way of ceremony. Do it in your own way of meditation, and really make the commitment this week in some way to reaffirming your choice to be here. And that can look like very physical things of, choosing to put better food in your body, choosing to stop watching television for a week, choosing to get off of social media, choosing to go for a walk. It doesn't actually have to look like this big, huge, monumental, like I'm going to let go of everything in my life that's not aligned all at once thing. It can start with a very small step, but make the conscious choice. Make the conscious choice to be here. So that's my share for today and what has been downloading through me. Please comment and let me know how this resonates. I'll put the link to the healing circle in the comments as well. And later this week, I'll be launching my new course called Creation Consciousness, Heaven on Earth Frequency. And it is about anchoring this, anchoring your uniqueness, but also anchoring the creations that you are meant to form here, whether that be relationships, work stuff, art, anything that's to be anchored through you to help seed this new consciousness that's landing. So I'll be sharing more about that in the next few days, over the next coming weeks. It'll launch at the beginning of December. The first class will be at the beginning of December. So I love you all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you have an amazing week. Take extra time if you're feeling these deep heart openings like I am to really drop in and do self-care and come into stillness. Don't push. This is not a time to push. This is a time to open, allow, release, receive, right? Open, allow, release, and receive. So have a wonderful day. Thank you all. Bye-bye.